you know, I was a player who only played League of Legends 24/7, you know, play till like 2 or 3 a.m. and then just get up like 6 hours later. But I think one day I saw myself, I didn't play like before because I played for like 7-8 years non-stop. So yeah, I think I needed some time to kind of recover my, you know, passion, I think. Yeah.
So I took 1 year off, which was much needed for a reset. And because of it, I feel like I'm playing better. Just because that season was kind of rough for me.
I think 2017 Olleh was really, how to say, kind of like bull. It's like the cow. It's like I'm just like go my way. So like I was a bit selfish like compared to now. Now what I'm doing is like how to make my teammates look better. I think that's really kind of, you know, it's kind of similar, but like it's really big difference.
I feel like I'm relatively the same with more experience, obviously. And probably I have, I guess, more vision in how I want to play. I don't think mechanically I've gotten worse. I feel like I've actually gotten better. But the players back then were just bad.
What a note to end on. And what a joy to have these two players back in the LCS. A quick word from both Bio and Olleh ahead of their matchup against each other today. But for both of them to have had that individual recognition, Emily, that they needed that time to refresh themselves and come back as better players.
Yeah, I found that particularly interesting, especially, you know, with Bio being like, my last season was really, really rough for me. I needed the mental reset. And then Olleh coming out and saying, he expanded on this in his tweet longer because he actually was looking at just working like a normal job, rediscovering that passion for League of Legends. So they both seemed, you know, incredibly burnt out, and it's great to have them back after that mental reset.
Yeah, exactly. Time to, you know, reflect different perspectives. We've seen this from other players in the past. I remember that spring split in which Doublelift took time off and then came back. Bjergsen technically did it this time round from coaching back to mid lane, so it's great to be able to take time off and see what how you can do things better.
But as we do talk about the fact that they made the choice to step away because they felt that's what they needed, we also have to recognize what they accomplished in their time on the LCS stages before their departures for a short period of time, Jen.
Yeah, and this was the biggest match they probably played in against each other, which was the finals in 2017. This was incredibly close to being a 5-game series. I remember this game pretty clearly, partially because I rewatched it last week. But they were up like 7 kills to 0 at this point in the base, and then Biofrost actually ended up landing like clutch recon engage after clutch recon engage, and this actually added to the it might have been 2016 TSM hype, no, 2017 TSM hype going into Worlds where people are like, man, Biofrost Recon is just so insane because this game was such a massive comeback for them.
Yeah, and so again, plenty of experience against each other, plenty of experience out there on the LCS stage, and with that time apart, I'm you know, continually curious about, as they say, how they feel they are better players now, right? And as we ask them to reflect on their, you know, earlier versions of themselves, I do kind of wonder what they're trying to pave, you know, ahead of themselves here in 2022.
I thought Olleh's answer was particularly interesting, right? Where he was just like, I was a lot more selfish of a player. And I think there's a massive difference between going from, you know, facilitating my teammates and like trying to carry, I guess. It's like trying to carry in a different way. I thought that was a really insightful answer from him. And then Biofrost, you know, stepping up and saying my hands are not gone just because I took time off.
Yeah.
I actually think I'm better mechanically.
Hey, sometimes rest is the most valuable thing.
Was great to hear. And like you talked about the engage supports, but I also think he's looked incredible on mages as well. Like his Lux has been phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a big part to the success of Dignitas right now. The bottom lane's been looking incredible. They've been really cluing into their jungler and River. Everything has been really solid for this team. And it kind of stemmed a little bit from the bot lane.
from Immortals and TSM to now Dignitas and Golden Guardians. Very excited for that support matchup. But we also have to talk about one of the other big additions to the LCS stage in blue. So swapping from some ultra veterans, Emily, to a bit of a newer face to many LCS fans.
I finally get to make my blue point because I think, again, we've spent so much time talking about River and what he does for this team. This is a roam from blue that turns out incredibly positive play for Dignitas. Blue roams very frequently, joining up with River and Biofrost to make plays, especially on the bot side. He has the highest kill participation of all mids at 73.6%, the highest first blood rate as well at 60%, and the second highest KDA only to, I believe, Bjergsen's.
Yeah. He generally just continues to roam, and this takes a step back and a lot of our expectations in preseason around his pickup, and he's been a huge value boost to Dignitas, the current success. So as we get into the actual champ select for this one, I'm interested in what their strategy is going to be, because they ain't going to have J4, I'm assuming.
Well, I mean, you're either taking it away, right, on the Golden Guardians side, or you're getting rid of it, I have to imagine.
Yeah. I'm interested in seeing what Pridestalker's decision is going to be, because when he's on blue side, he generally goes towards like a Zhao, and not the J4. So it's either they're banning it or consciously playing into it.
We also mentioned this yesterday, but I like the Caitlyn takeaway specifically. Like, obviously, she's still strong. There's the J4 ban. But specifically from Dignitas, because once again, they are a team who's played that Caitlyn Lux really well. They've shown that they know where to rotate that lane. So I like that takeaway.
Now that the J4 has been taken away, another great pick from Dignitas's River has been Poppy. He had a phenomenal Poppy game. It's actually quite decent into the Zhao as well, just another dash that you can stuff. So if that's going to be the pickup, you have to wonder if Golden Guardians are going to go towards it or try and hold jungle into like the 4-5, which is something they can do and have done.
Yeah, I think Golden Guardians as well, we haven't gotten the chance to talk too much about their play style. They've been really good at enabling Pridestalker to be really selfish, and I think that's a strategy they want to use frequently. When they have Jinx, obviously, with no other bans, that doesn't give away that much.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for them to either, if like Xin is still up and they just want to power pick and go standard, that's fine. But his Zed and Kiana is still pretty huge.
Remember that Thresh is still open, so you can go Thresh and Aphelios here, which is just something that Dignitas' bot lane has just been so good at. Neo will always just opt into that pick, going for Aphelios versus Jinx trade. So yeah, the Xin Zhao is gonna be picked up.
Xin Thresh, right? You can always take the Aphelios in that third position if you want.
Yeah, it's very safe for Dig. I'm interested in what the pick is going to be for FakeGod actually, because now they're giving him picks on 4-5. I expect him, I mean, this is going into the future, but he's been pretty damn good on the Gragas. So actually going Xin Corki, so holding on to the bot lane a little bit more is surprising to me.
And that does mean that they could end up giving Olleh the Thresh pick with the Jinx, which is an interesting, an interesting choice. Yep, that's good. I like locking in the Thresh with the Jinx. I mean, Thresh is just so powerful.
Yes, it is surprising. I'm interested. You should just then 3-pick your support. Actually, no. They're just gonna go Aphelios, I'm pretty sure, and then try and hold support. They have more than just 2 support picks, so. Should be confident from them, but this...
Veigar hover! Veigar into Corki again.
Have you guys seen much Veigar in Champ Q? Or is that more of a scrim thing?
I've seen it in LPL and LCK.
Yeah, okay.
And like other, like...
they swapped though.
LEC.
Yeah, and they're just doing Hecarim anyway.
Swap over to
So
Hecarim.
selfish jungler at least, and then Aphelios instead of support pick, so they're gonna let support go 4-5.
So one thing to make note of, it's just been a classic thing, is that the team that will have Aphelios Corki will just have the range advantage. Especially since Golden Guardians are going to put in a lot of into the Jinx. So Teamfight comp, they already have the dive on with Hecarim. I think having one more dive buddy is going to be helpful, so maybe the Licorice is going to fulfill that. Licorice has had a pretty wide champion pool. He's had some Akali games as an example, so I'm interested to see what that would be as we go into 4-5. He's going to have to... Actually, he might not have to blind, knowing that FakeGod's probably just going to take... It's hard to say.
Yeah, I feel like almost always now the red side isn't going to take their top laner until 5 because it's such a dangerous flex for support top.
Yeah, and they already see the Thresh, so
yeah,
should just be support on 4
So support is, I think, I'm going to say 95% on 4, and then it stops you from being able to blind Renekton because that's when we've seen the biggest outdrafts with support top is when the
what
Renekton can't do
other-
anything later. So
Mid, they're gonna ban here.
it's making drafts like a low
Oh,
standard.
Zillion. Okay. I mean, GG have shown that they are willing to play that pick, and Zillion is pretty strong. It does make me wonder if they are going to go with the Veigar.
I think so. With the Jace ban, not only does it help top lane, but it also adds to the fact that, yeah, Veigar is going to is fine. Even though Corki Aphelios is threatening with the range, now you're just not completely kind of forced out with Jace as an option there for Dignitas. So I do think that, yeah, I agree. Veigar is going to be the pick for the Golden Guardians.
Nope.
First, it's
Leona
Dignitas.
4.
They'll pick up their support, Leona, in the 4th position. Now it's over to Golden Guardians for their final 2.
And Leona's going to do a good job at just, okay, so it's going to be Gnar, but going to be doing a good job to set up the poke from Corki and Aphelios. So if she's ever going to get an ulti on towards Jinx, Thresh probably just because he's going to be the one that's walking up, then yeah, you just have secured damage later on in the game.
Yeah, really, it ends up being a pretty standard draft by these standards, just because Veigar seems like it's the pick into Corki nowadays. And if we see another Tryndamere and Gnar, like we've actually seen this game before.
There we go.
Same soul lane, same counter picks.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Log it in. All right, so ultimate conclusions on these 2 compositions.
For me, I like Golden Guardians composition. Veigar Jinx, pretty reliable front to back. It's going to be tough for Tryndamere to split or to even take these fights with how much CC's in these fights. So I'll give it to Golden Guardians.
Does that align with your predictions from the top of the day, or are you now countering your own predictions?
Oh, actually, it does align. I think I had
You
Golden
went for
Guardians on this
Golden
one.
Guardians?
Yes.
Okay. Because I would have, my assumption, oh, you're wrong. You did not have Golden Guardians.
I know. What?
I was just
You're
told by
trolling
producers.
yourself in predictions.
I mean, again, I think it makes sense that a lot of people would look at Dignitas. I mean, better in record to be favored. Oh, producers lied. You're
Yeah,
safe.
no, what are they trying to do to me?
Producers lied. You're saved. You're safe in
freaking
that
me
moment.
out.
All right. It's neither here nor there what Raz predicted. It's about what the teams put out there on Summoner's Rift. The comps are locked in. It's a 2-3 Golden Guardians going up against a 3-2 Dignitas. Let's find out who comes out on top as we head back out to our casters for the call.
Let's do it. It's game number 4. Golden Guardians, Dignitas, getting to see a little bit more of the Veigar, a little bit more of the Tryndamere. What are you thinking, buddy?
I'm thinking we're going to see some hole breakers on the top side.
No
We're
way.
pushing away.
Hole breaker? You
We're gonna
gotta
see
be
some
messing with me.
scaling in the mid lane with
No.
Veigar versus Corki again. Now, it also affects the bottom lane because, you know, when you have Veigar on the opponent team, Neo then has to opt to take cleanse to deal with some of the team fights because Aphelios, with the short range, does have a hard time later on dealing with the Veigar, and so it is going to be a double cleanse on the bottom side of the map, since Lost is taking his in response to the Leona as well. So it means there's no heals for the bottom side, a little bit less safety in those duo lanes, and with the mid lane trying to farm up and with top lane trying to get their split push on, would think that we'd have some more jungle action in that direction.
Plus, we get to have Predator Veigar again. You and I were having a conversation behind the scenes earlier today about him, how he looks so goofy when he runs around at 9,000 miles per hour, just waddling at people, flailing his arms back and forth. I love him, dude. Veigar's goofy.
He definitely is goofy, especially depending on the skins. One thing too, I like, you know, with this matchup that we see more and more now, the Veigar into Corki, is that you can opt to make the lane more volatile, and it's in your advantage because your cage only costs 70 mana. Corki's Valkyrie, which he has to use for a response to get out of it, costs 100. But if you coordinate your timings on forcing that trade with your jungler, then you can open up opportunities to try and actually, you know, get some kills early on, or coordinate with your jungler to help you push the lane out, and better yet, Predator to one of the side lanes to actually get your gank off there.
Okay, well, FakeGod is at least going to see that Pridestalker is starting up here at the blue with a little bit of help from Licorice. Both of our junglers starting on the top side here in this one as I would call it a trade here in bottom, but it's more just sort of punching on Olleh a little bit from the side of Dignitas.
Yeah, it was like a 2 or 3 for 1 trade there, and Olleh took a few more punches. He's going to have to chug his potions much more quickly than Bile. You already see Bile up 1 on him, and he's not even back to full health.
And FakeGod just spinning right on in there after Licorice gets the bone plating out of him and now backs away. As soon as you have those plates, like, you're not going to do a whole lot more damage going for extra auto attacks past that. So FakeGod's happy to take those and back up, as Blue will shove in the mid lane here nice and early, have that priority. Again, Veigar's not impressively powerful in the early game, but Corki's not exactly a champion that's going to make you sweat during that phase either, and it should be pretty easy for Ablazeolive to be able to successfully farm up and stack some nice AP here.
And those are exactly the origins of the matchup and of the new emergence of Veigar. People trying to pick him into Corki because Corki's not going to punish you super heavily like a lot of other champions are early on, because the early lane phase is not that punishing. So the Veigar, you know, can scale up for later, and then you both are just trying to scale in different ways. You know, Veigar brings the burst combos and the predator roaming possibilities with your long-range CC from your cage, and Corki gives you the safety of late game rockets.
Eternal poke.
Trying to poke people, and the package timing, which are more difficult on this patch, as everybody knows, has been pushed back to the 10-minute mark, so it's not available for the first Herald, and the recharge changed to 5 minutes, so you have to delay a little bit on respawn dragons.
Well, River is the first one down here into this bottom side. He'll be able to take care of that Scuttle Crab. Of course, that was a full clear through the jungle from Pridestalker, as opposed to River, who did not do his own Krugs, so he is still a level down compared to his counterpart. He's waiting to see if Ablazeolive comes back into mid here so we can set up for this gank, and there he is. So here goes River. There's your wind becomes lightning. Not quite enough damage to get the kill, but they will force the flag.
Ooh, yeah, that is very good for Dig. Ablazeolive was trying to get out without having to blow a summoner, so he has a good cage placement to get the stun, and yet still takes the damage from Corki afterwards, and then late flashes. So it gives up a lot of HP plus the summer spell to do so. River trying to corral the crab upwards so that Pridestalker can't have anything to say about it. And then you can finish off on your Krugs as well for the roundabout clear from Xin, leaving River well and truly above Pridestalker on his clear speed, which is so rare for a Xin Zhao. Pridestalker has to wait around for the second respawn here, and the double Scuttle Crab for River will be something he can take to the bank on his first recall here.
Of course, they're not worth a ton of EXP anymore. Those first ones did get the EXP nerfed by 80% or so, so it's not like it's getting him way far ahead in terms of everything, but the money still feels really nice.
Exactly, and it makes his first purchase very, very big. So he's continuing on with the secondary respawns through Raptors as well, and they're both going to cycle on through.
Top side, Licorice has a nice big wave built up here, so he'll be able to crash that one into the turret, as FakeGod should be able to farm up most, if not all of these, keeping those CS counts very even between the two. Mid lane, a similar story being told, as both have very, very close farm. Teleport already being used by Ablazeolive to get back into mid lane. Blue still has full resources. Health bar, mana bar, everything's good to go. No reason to use the TP.
Now I want to see if you can get a support roam timing on mid lane, because the flash was blown with the early gank from River, and so Biofrost here makes the attempt, but Golden Guardians know that this is the biggest playmaking opportunity afforded to them, and so they're also sussing it out. Pridestalker pops the Scryer's Bloom there to see about it, and so first recall from supports for their roam timing isn't going to find any of the roaming plays. And the extra vision here with the extra control wards does leave open repeat opportunities, which is why you see Ablazeolive hovering up to the top side of the map.
And both of our mid laners do have level 6 now, so the rocket poke begins. The real burst combo from Veigar also available. Worth pointing out too, although I mentioned that Blue did not have any reason to use his TP, he did get to go back thanks to forcing Ablazeolive out of lane, so they both got to have their first chop. You can see top side, it is Licorice using his own teleport, rushing the plated steel caps. Melee versus ranged matchups are so often just the arms race to tier 2 boots before anything else, because the move speed is so important in those trades.
Yeah, move speed's always critical in all these Tryndamere matchups for him trying to chase you down. Ablazeolive knows so much was invested on the bottom side. Again, he's hovering slightly towards top side off this reset. Everybody from Golden Guardians trying to counter.
Oh, here we go. Dignitas thought they were ready, but in fact, it's the Golden Guardians who have the manpower. 2-0 in that exchange.
Yes, beautiful job there from the Golden Guardians. Ablaze waits, hovering top side, kind of dangling it in front of them, knowing he is the one with the target on his back. Whenever you blow that early flash, everybody in the game looking for this play, and off of the reset, you know that Golden Guardians fully focused on this counter because they brought Lost with them. Usually we talk about, oh, support reset timer. You get to go roam with your junglers. Nice little buddy system there. And yet they actually turned it into a full-on massacre in the mid lane. 2 kills picked up for the Golden Guardians for the full commitment, bringing the Jinx there as well. Lost with the sweeper goes in, or Pridestalker goes in with the sweeper. With the cage, they do eventually get the flash out of River. He was trying to hold, but it's a bit too late because, as you said, Ablazeolive already has access to the ultimate, so that one is in the air. And that one rings true. Plus, with Biofrost getting caught up there as well, that is 2 very quick kills for mid jungle.
Yeah, 2 kills and almost a 2,000 gold lead means they're winning elsewhere as well. They've already got a plate taken off the top lane there. That's the only plate that's been taken in the game. They are winning in farm in every single role, including support, which is mostly just a meme, but I still like pointing it out. Like, Golden Guardians are having an awesome early game here, but I must put the asterisk on that statement. Golden Guardians have had many awesome early games so far in the first couple of weeks of LCS play here. It's the mid game, it's the late game, it's the ability to close that is mostly in question for me with this team.
Yeah, and we've seen in many games from many of the different teams too. So many comebacks in a lot of these games that we've had, especially this weekend. So keeping your options open for both of them. Attempts here to clear out so much of the pathway for Leona / Thresh to make their roams, though. You see these control wards replenished through this river heading up towards mid lane, so they can try and keep it as an option to open up those big level 6s. Olleh already has his. Biofrost trying to soak on bottom side to get that level 6 Leona lane, and then we'll see if they can actually punish.
All right, Golden Guardians will pick up the Herald for themselves, or at least start it. Doesn't look like we're going to see any immediate rotation away from Dignitas. Golden Guardians were able to shove up that top lane wave, get that one crashing into the turret, make sure FakeGod has to answer that. One more proc on the eye, there you go, and now it's just a smite away. Golden Guardians secure that one easy, and they'll have the entire duration of the eye to be able to secure some plate money. Response from Dig, going for the Drake here in the bottom.
And you can tell the coordination there from Golden Guardians. You know, they're willing to trade first Dragon for first Riftfield. I feel like most teams would love that trade because of the gold value attached to turret plates for first Riftfield early on, and still having the option to interrupt on Dragon stacking for later. You know, you had Lost and Olleh rotate halfway up to about here. From bottom lane to ensure that they could join the Riftfield fight if there was any sort of movement from Dig to get there. As soon as they see them not going for that, they just return right back to the lane so you don't give up any minions for it, and it's just the neutral objective trade without any extra resources invested.
Licorice just keeps on shoving up here in the top side. FakeGod's happy to just let the wave move towards him, catch it all there, scale up as the Tryndamere. Here in mid, Ablazeolive throws down the cage, but it will not find Blue, who is, of course, armed with his own blue buff, which means that rocket spam is just never gonna stop. It's up to Ablazeolive to constantly be sidestepping those as FakeGod goes forward. And then that's always the thing about trading into Mini-Gnar. It's not just your immediate trade when you jump on him and try to hit him with damage. You also have to account for how many shots you're gonna take on the way out.
Yeah, and with Gnar also very frequently running this fleet footwork, extra speed up, helping you chase them back down in addition to rushing for your tier 2 boots. It's really a 1,000 cuts style strategy though for the Gnar.
It's not fancy or flashy. It's just slap him with an auto attack here or there. Maybe donk him in the head with a boomerang, you know, just little things.
Exactly. You try and keep him under control by getting as much health off from each trade as you can whenever he goes in, so that the Tryndamere can't threaten you so frequently with those all-ends. Because FakeGod here, sitting with the double summoner spells ready, definitely would take that opportunity, especially if they could get jungle intervention. So he keeps going for the trades on the Mini-Gnar. You have very little armor, so that's why you have to try and play to your range. And he's going back in here with very low health. There's the Ghost, baby.
There it is. FakeGod's giving him the auto attacks, forces the flash out of Licorice. It's a positive summoner spell trade for FakeGod. Ghost's cooldown significantly shorter.
Yeah, definitely the objective obtained there for him. That's all that he's looking for in this situation. And he pops the Q for the health. You give up on your extra crit percent chance because of popping for it there, but you get the extra auto attacking guaranteed. So unless you're going to get real lucky there, it definitely is a damage positive choice And the bottom side is going to pay the immediate price. Predator from Veigar used to roam down. Remember, they still have Rift Herald in hand too, so this poke damage onto Neo could have very, very real ramifications as far as the gold generation for Golden Guardians. Lost already got one turret plate, and second one is about to fall off. So huge poke damage earned, and they've got the Rift Herald, so they can just complete the entire thing here. If you pop it after 2 plates, you have the auto attack time during the spawn of the Rift Herald to get through plate number 3, and the true damage always finishes off number 4 and 5 there. So it's the most efficient way to pop it as a jungler when you're coming through. After you have finished up with 2, and with 2 people auto attacking, you can get through number 3 to get the most out of true damage, because bulwark resistances adding to the turret will make it a lot more difficult if you don't get that window.
Wait till 3 plates, summon Herald, collect your money, wham, bam, gold in a can. Let's do it. That's how you make sure you're optimizing. Let's see again how they set it up here and how Neo got such low HP.
Yeah, I mean, it was just good play here from Olleh. Forces out the cleanse super early on. That is both Flame Choppers and the turret used, but that's how the cleanse was down previously to be able to force the extra damage on the second trade.
All right, let's see what mid lane's going to look like here as Blue is forced back a little bit. Again, the farm just remaining perfectly mirrored between these two. But the gold overall, the top 3 earners in the game are all Golden Guardians. A 4,000 gold lead before plates even fall, and it's about to balloon even further, Kobe. The Golden Guardians early game has been on point in these first couple of weeks. It continues to be so. River's stealing away a couple of chickens, but you're going to need a whole lot of chickens to make up 4,000 gold.
Yeah.
4,000 gold's worth of chickens?
That's a lot of chicken.
That's a truckload of chicken.
How many buckets of chicken can I buy for 4,000 gold? Remember, too, Golden Guardians did not give up a lane to feed their Jinx. This is a Jinx that fed herself. Yes, there was a Rift Herald activated in the lane, but Lost and Olleh doing so much work on bottom side that they take the whole bottom lane turret with all those turret plates and top side turret, very similar to last game where TSM were force-feeding Tactical with all these 5-man ganks down there, meanwhile giving up top side and letting this, Camille get super fed. But Golden Guardians didn't give up anything for this. So this is just a world where you've got a fed Jinx, and they still have a Gnar that is going toe-to-toe and, in fact, up in CS over the Tryndamere. So very promising for Golden Guardians. You talk about good early games, this is a damn great early game, okay? Almost 5K here, cresting for Golden Guardians.
Okay, Dignitas, however, are in position to challenge for this Drake despite the gold deficit. They've already got the first Drake of the game. They would love to go 2-0 on that count here, but Pridestalker is ready. It will be a flip here for the Drake. It's stolen away by Golden Guardians, and they feel great about it. Pridestalker gets himself back out. Golden Guardians is not looking for a fight. They're happy to take the Drake and walk away.
They are so happy that, I mean, you don't want to say they start celebrating early. They get the package out as well. Another good amount of poke here.
Yep.
They've also just got so much CC to force out these opportunities for themselves. Cage plus Olleh has been pinpoint accuracy thus far with the Thresh. So many times here for Golden Guardians, they open up plays with these abilities, and they're just cruising through this game. Neutral objective number 3 picked up for themselves. That's the second Rift Herald plus that Dragon they were just able to steal away with Pridestalker's Smite. Honestly, this is going so incredibly well for them that you already want to take those next steps in setting up your checklist here for Golden Guardians to finish one out and actually get this one on the scoreboard, even that score up to 3-3, so you can make a strong push.
And hey, while we were watching the Rift Herald be taken on the main screen, down in the bottom left in that picture-in-picture, it was Licorice winning the 1v1 against FakeGod. The top laners have entered into the realm of Hullbreaker combat, and Licorice is feeling fine in that one-item showdown between these two.
And FakeGod is going to have to stick to those side lanes because Gnar team fights way better than Tryndamere, also considering that Tryndamere has to team fight through a Veigar cage, through a Thresh cage. There is so much peel for a Tryndamere, whereas sometimes you can theoretically be like, okay, well, the Tryndamere could split push and then roam to one of these fights and get a flank, and you put a lot of pressure on the back line with your ulti, but there's so much CC, it is a nightmare for him, and so he wants to be able to stick to side lanes, to be able to stick to some split push through this game, whereas there are a lot of team fighting opportunities for Golden Guardians. And some of the times when we set up talking about win conditions for teams and mention one team being ahead versus another team despite gold values on the scoreboard is because team fighting setups are a lot easier to end games out. But just so happens in this game, the one with strong team fighting setup also has the almost 5,000 gold lead for themselves for the Golden Guardians.
And I want to talk about the gold lead a little bit too, because that gold lead does not include the stacks of evil power or whatever the hell Veigar's thing is called, that he currently has almost 200 of. So let's do a little bit of math here real quick. Normally this is Freak's thing, but I think I can at least do this math. So 40 AP on a blasting wand costs 850 gold, right?
Okay.
He's almost got 200. 40 times 5 is 200. 850 times 5 is 4,250.
Approved.
That's nearly doubling the gold lead just in Veigar AP, man.
Approved. And, you know, it is taken into account in the power budget when they're designing the champion, you know, for the passive. He gets a pick here onto blue, and that's 50% of your HP.
Oh, nearly got him there, blue, flashing out of the way of the Q, but he won't get away from the super mega death rocket for the kill.
They've got a lot of death flying around on the side of Golden Guardians, and the second one reigns true. Now they're just going to take even more.
Oh, baby, River's in some trouble. He wants to get out of there, but there's no way home except in a body bag. Golden Guardians, man, looking good.
Yeah, as long as your home is the fountain.
Yeah.
Get right
I don't
home
wanna go
real
home.
quick. He's going right back home. Dig are getting smashed. 6,000 gold lead and counting, Flowers. They're about to get another turret with Rift Arrow number 2. The Golden Guardians are raining gold all over the map.
There it is. That one should put them right about there. Almost $8,000 ahead of their opponents. Another Rift Herald charge.
Count
this
it.
time under
Keep
tier
on counting.
2.
Pump
Let's
those
keep
numbers
on
up,
going.
baby.
These are rookie numbers. We need to pump them numbers up. Over 8,000 gold lead. 18 minutes in for the Golden Guardians squad.
Wowee. All right. This is a smash from the Golden Guardians. Are you kidding me with how far ahead they are? Look at the amount of flexibility and luxury they have at the fountain. They can go shopping for whatever they want, my friend. You want an item? Here, take 2 items. You've got completed stopwatch up into Zhonya's upgrade here for Veigar on top of the extra CC coming from your Frost.
Dude.
It's honestly, let's see how Dignitas can come back into it, because it's no use going over Golden Guardians anymore. They have to focus on these objective bounties that are spawning on the map. And you know what that means? Guerrilla warfare. Group up, attack a side lane, try and push for a trade on an objective.
Well, that next objective is spawning here in about 5 seconds. We do have ourselves both the 3rd Drake of the game and Baron, both coming up right about now. Of course, it is kind of difficult to go for a Baron right on spawn. Sometimes you see it happen, but more often than not, that's not what we're aiming for. The Mountain Drake, though, Dignitas tried to secure the last Drake, get themselves that 2-0 lead. It was stolen away by Pridestalker and the Golden Guardians. Now that it's 1-1, there's not really that desire on Dig to continue stacking towards Soul, because it's just going to take so much longer. And when you're already down 8,000 gold, taking a fight in open ground, that's a little bit of a monk W, buddy.
Exactly.
That's not good.
You never want to take a fight now. You always want to use the objective that you think your opponents are going for as a lure to go trade something on the other side of the map. So, in this case, bottom side, you know Dragon is up, so the opponent team is going to be over here by Dragon. At least 1 player. Plus, you see Veigar. So, try and send everybody as much as you can to push on top turret, try and get that gold bounty. You know, try and overload somewhere else and trade, but they just cannot. It looks like they're just too scared to even do that. So, gonna just give it away, get nothing back, a few minions at the very least on top side, and they're just huddling inside.
This is feeling so doomed for Dignitas right now, and I know it's only 21 minutes into the game. I know it's only 4 kills, but the gold lead of 8,000, the fact that they're doing this with a Jinx, which is pretty much the strongest hyper carry, AD carry in the game right now. They've got the Veigar with the infinite scaling in the mid lane as well. What a nightmare for Dignitas to be stuck in dealing with this right now. I feel like you are just absolutely stuck on putting all the eggs in the FakeGod basket. It's got to be a win through a split push. There's no other way to get this done. But unfortunately, Licorice is staying exactly on par with him. He's not falling behind. The Tryndamere's not able to just abuse him. And it's just feeling like those windows are shrinking away.
So Veigar currently has 537 AP with the utility purchases. This is not even with rushing second item Rabadons. You know, this is with rushing second item into the Zhonya.
How much damage does that ulti do? Can we look at the
He's got the Dark Seal with 6 stacks adding to the extra passive damage.
Okay.
So your Primordial Burst will do 1,309 damage. Then we'll get, reduced by resistances, but also has the increased damage for execution versus the low health targets. So you can just pump those numbers up a bit.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's... 1,300 damage. River's got about 2K here. Biofrost sitting on 1.5. So, now, of course, the 1,309, that is the high end. Of course, it scales as your HP gets lower, but feels like if you're below half health, Ablazeolive's killing you. That's sort of the story of what's going on right now. And the other story, the immediate story, is the fact that Baron is now the target for the Golden Guardians. Dignitas are approaching. Ablazeolive is not in the pit at all. They're just allowing him to run interference here, see if maybe he can catch anybody out. Everfrost is going to slow River down. Dignitas have made their way over to the Baron. Pridestalker stays on it. Lost still there too, but they do not want to flip the 50-50 here. They think that that's one of the only ways they could lose the game, so they're going to back away.
Exactly. And, as we said, Dig want to trade anything. So anything at a 50-50 chance just looks like the bargain
good
deal
shot
of a century.
Yeah. When you're down 8,000 at 20 minutes, 50-50, that's a really good deal.
All right, but they also can do the Corki scale for late. So 2 items have come in for Corki. You can always try and count on the late game. Maybe we fish with some rockets, and you do find some hits onto Veigar. Those stick, find some onto Jinx. Maybe the Thresh is not around there, and you can try and poke your way to a comeback. And then you have a bunch of objective bounties to reap if you're able to open that opportunity up. It is going to be difficult, but
yes,
Corki has been the lever for so many comebacks thus far in the current state of the meta because of the power that you can get with just finding some high value late game poke onto the back line.
Gale Force completed for FakeGod's Tryndamere now. 2 items on him. Gonna need plenty more to become that massive split push threat that Dignitas is looking for to maybe win this game. With that said, it's Golden Guardians right back over to the Baron. One way to deal with split push is just get Baron and Deathball it down a lane, make it so that they cannot outpace you. And right now, that Baron is already dropped to about half. Dignitas will once again have to approach. Ablazeolive in the pit with the rest of the team this time. Licorice walking up. Olleh throws out a hook, but he's not going to find it. Golden Guardians take a little bit of damage here from the poke as Olleh has to get away. Neo's not able to find the execution, and Golden Guardians are forced off the Baron.
So you always have to turn as Golden Guardians because you, as you previously mentioned, unless you're getting it blind, you never want to give an opportunity for a 50-50 smite fight. So you should always be looking for the turn off of the Baron in this scenario as Golden Guardians. You've got Thresh hooks and you've got Veigar, Ablazeolive with flash available on this champion to be able to get your cage down and turn. But Dig play it cautiously here, and they stop this Baron without committing, without falling prey to the turn, to the pick. That right there, that inaction in the game is a giant Dignitas W. Put that one up on the board, even with this 8,000 previously gold lead that is now diminishing in the favor of Dignitas. They're slowly doing it, Flowers. You're slowly climbing back up this hill the longer you can stall Golden Guardians.
But I do want to make sure that everybody on the Dignitas party bus still understands the gravity of the situation here. It is already a 3-item Jinx. It is Ablazeolive's Veigar nearly having the Rabadons completed here. You already see the 2 needlessly large rods in the inventory. Things are still scary, and it is Golden Guardians heading over to the Drake pit. This will put them on sole point if Dignitas is not able to steal it away.
All right, they're actually moving in like they look like they want to fight it. Package is available here. Blue positioning through the river. Looks like he's got a juicy pack.
Oh, here we go. What's it going to be, Dignitas? Do they want to commit for this? Still an 8,500 gold lead for the Golden Guardians. FakeGod positioned near the wall, ready to spin over and go for the back line if he can find them. Drake down to 2,000 HP. Over the wall goes Pridestalker. The objective bounty's going to be claimed, but what about the fight? Biofrost likely to die first here. River about to be number 2, but he gets back over the wall. FakeGod looking for the carries. Ablazeolive buying time here with the stasis. The Golden Guardians have lost Olleh, but Dignitas are losing a lot more. They've still got FakeGod, River, and Blue alive. They'll escape with that. So honestly, getting a 1 for 2, but you get the objective, that's all right for Dig.
Yeah, the biggest thing there is landing that smite, getting the shutdown on the objective bounty, because every neutral objective has that 500 base gold bounty. And so the dragon, not only does it stop Golden Guardians from getting soul point, but it does get you the bounty. So now the hard part, though, the Baron is the next target, and they're burning through it quickly.
That's why I only wanted to say it was all right for Dig, because Golden Guardians are ready for the follow-up. Licorice jumps away. Flame Chomper's going to arm up here. Baron down to about 2,000, and the Golden Guardians back away. Pridestalker is so low that he cannot safely complete that last little bit, and Dignitas are hanging on.
Flowers, is it really happening to the Golden Guardians again? What an outstanding early game. They hit peaks of upwards of 8.5 thousand gold advantage. Yeah. Turned off again, though. So here's another look at how Dig were able to get this objective bounty shutdown. And they're also looking for the fight. You see FakeGod goes for the positioning for this flank around on the bottom side, over the wall here to wrap around as the engage goes up towards Biofrost on Leona. And River, after he gets the objective bounty, is right into the middle of it there. Flashes out at the end. I think FakeGod, maybe a little bit of miscommunication. Instead of going for the escape up to the top side, does go in to re-engage there. He ends up living anyways with the package from Blue, nicely used for a little bit of peel there, and zoning him off. But 2 for 1 with an objective bounty, and then stopping the Baron is such good news for the comeback scenario here for Dig, even though Golden Guardians hold on to this gold lead. And Veigar does have the completed Rabadons now, so giant damage will be able to be pumped into a single target there for him, and still have the big zone control with the cage.
My biggest observation of those damage charts, Licorice topped the charts for the Golden Guardians. It was not the 3-item Jinx with an Infinity Edge. It was not the 3-item Veigar with the Rabadons. Those champions were not able to apply their damage in a meaningful way to the point where 2-item Gnar outdid them. That is why the fight was not able to be more convincing for the Golden Guardians, and that's what's going to need to change in these future skirmishes if they don't want to end up having this one slip away from them like we've seen already happen so many times.
And that's why we mentioned why the necessity of the cleanse for Neo is going to be, it's still an issue here because he's a little bit shorter range unless he has Green Gun, and you have to deal with Veigar, Cage, and the Thresh as well. But Ablaze finds himself a pick, forces an ult for ult trade.
Good stuff there. FakeGod will find the team fight pretty impossible to do without his own ulti. Ablazeolive still able to contribute some here. River and Blue were in a good spot to block the Super Mega Death Rocket. If that one would have collided with FakeGod, I believe it would have killed him. Golden Guardians still with control over the red side jungle of Dignitas, moving up as a group, looking to clear out any vision, looking to make this a question mark for Dig. Where are they? What are they doing? What's next?
And it is a cooldown positive trade with Tryndamere because, as you know, Tryndamere's very infrequently level up their ultimate. They always leave it at level 1 and pump abilities into the rest of their kit.
Yeah.
So the cooldown remains quite long later into the game. So he knows he's trading into a level 1 Tryndamere ultimate 110 seconds with his only 60-second Veigar ultimate. So you can force those every single time. Plus you have the added benefit of getting Tryndamere low health. So it's not just a cooldown trade, it's also a health trade there, kind of taking him out and giving your team some priority. But really, what can you do with this for Golden Guardians? That has been the question posed to them since minute 8 of this game. And thus far, they have not been able to do much of at all with it. And Dignitas have been holding on to this game, just gritting their teeth, bloody fingers, stuck onto this mountain. They're not letting go.
Man.
And now their Corki's got 3 items.
I was not expecting the climbing the mountain rev. I was just thinking you're pressing so many buttons, your APM's so high, your fingers are bloody.
To me, that's what an 8.5 thousand gold lead that early into the game to me is. It's just this rock face that only a few people have been able to climb. This is the one they tell legends about.
All right, I like it. That's some cool imagery. I'm down for that. Now, We've got ourselves a Drake spawning in 10 seconds. Both of our teams currently at 2. That means whoever can secure this one will be on Soul Point. Golden Guardians, again, grouped up here in mid. All 5 players ready to go. It'll be Licorice pathing towards the Drake pit first. Everybody else following up behind him. And it doesn't look like Dignitas is in a good spot to challenge for this one. Instead, they're moving up towards the Baron. They're saying, hey, if you send everybody over to Drake, we'll try to rush this down. But that's not the case. It's just Ablazeolive and Licorice. Everybody else is standing guard up here. As soon as River sees Pridestalker, they know what's going on. So good Drake secure there from Golden Guardians.
Exactly, and the key here for Golden Guardians when you're in this position of power, it's very easy. All you have to do is keep your jungler around this area. Dig are never going to just, force that down while you have someone else taking Dragon. And so they had both of their solo laners, which each have Unleashed Teleport on that Dragon. So as long as you still have your jungler up here, your threat of the smite, your threat of the engage is still here. You've got the double teleports. If Dignitas, go crazy and try and force something, you will be able to catch them. But Dig have played this game so patiently from behind. After getting behind, which is unfortunate for them, they've been able to at least leverage themselves into this sort of situation. Again, fishing behind Baron, trying to stop it. A bunch of damage once again from Baron delivered to the Golden Guardians front line, and they're forced to pull off again.
The Golden Guardians have just not changed or accelerated or moved this game in a positive direction in what feels like so long, Kobe. What's the holdup?
Yeah, so I want to see them more aggressively force on the Baron and turn. You have to always be looking for this turn with your Flash Predator Veigar and Flash from your Thresh. Look for that big play when the team that is coming to check the Baron is so far behind in gold. And that gold meant a lot more 10, 15 minutes ago when they first got this gold lead. Now, Dignitas are actually catching up. Now it's a lot harder to do that. It's actually scary for Veigar because now Veigar's thinking, okay, I can try and position aggressively, but Corki's got 3 items now, so if I get hit with a rocket, I get like one more chance to make a play.
Okay, here might be the engage that the Golden Guardians have been looking for, but Dignitas gets themselves away. Flash coming out from River to keep himself away from that attack of the Golden Guardians. Blue also doing a good job firing some of those rockets in there, and you can see Ablazeolive's health bar. I believe that is a single Corki rocket.
Exactly. So that's the worry of waiting longer in the game to pull off that turn from Baron and pull off that pick. It gets so much more scary because of the scaling of the Corki and the range that those rockets provide. Like, that is always going to be something Dignitas can try and rally around for the late game. And they're keeping this defense of this red quadrant up, Flowers.
Okay.
This has been a long war they've fought over this vision behind Baron, and it has definitely paid off for them thus far. But attempt number 36 for Golden Guardians on Baron.
Tales will be told and songs will be sung of the trenches of the red buff jungle of Dignitas. The Baron now down below half HP again. Dignitas ready to move forward. River's going in. Maybe he's able to try to fight for this one, but no, it's going to be secured by the Golden Guardians. And finally, at 34 minutes, they will achieve the Baron.
Better late than never. Woo! Golden Guardians, they zone them out, Flowers. Cage used, aggressive positioning this time. Flame Chompers used over the wall. Throwing everything they can to keep River out. They get the Baron without having to flip. They are back to their 8,000 gold lead, but this time they want to push with that Baron. Dignitas, though, this Corki is now level 18 with 4 items, so
yeah,
we shall see if those dreaded rockets find their mark. Check in on some of the other avenues that they have. Tryndamere now finishing the Navori Quick Blades as well. The extra cooldown reduction does mean a lot, especially when you're split pushing there and trying to make use of so much mobility. We'll see if he actually makes his way through some of these hard to navigate abilities.
Now, one thing I also want to point out, because you're talking about, will Dignitas be able to stall out this push? Can they fight back against the Baron? The Baron timer very easily overlaps with the spawning of what will be the soul for Golden Guardians 2. So even if Golden Guardians push this up, they can't break the inhibitor line. The rockets are just too balanced. That means that Golden Guardians can still fall back over to the Drake. But Ablazeolive just showed Biofrost how Veigar's scaling works.
Wait for your pick, baby. He finds the cage and he finds his kill. 100% to 0. That's
all it takes.
It feels nice, Nice chain there, though. As soon as you land the cage, you can easily follow up with your Everfrost, and that's going to be your way in. Now there's no Leona threat, so this has got to be Golden Guardian taking multiple structures.
Blue losing a good chunk of his HP there as Lost continues being the point man with the Jinx. Not afraid to do that as Neo just pops him and makes him regret it. You can play aggro like that. You can do the main character thing, but man, sometimes you gotta just watch out a little bit more. River walking in, follow up from the Golden Guardians, kaboom!
This game is a game of one-shots, Flowers. Who's going to be next?
Well, let's see. Licorice, how long you gonna last, buddy? Goes back into Mininar, tries to run away. Run away, little Mininar, run! He jumps over the wall. He's got the lantern and he's out.
And he's out. Licorice finds his way to safety after we've watched many a champion be deleted. Health bars from 100 to 0, 2 at the hands of Ablazeolive with that Veigar, who we might as well check back in on that combined
where we
AP. We are well over 1,000, my friend. 1,225 AP.
With 380 of it being from the passive.
Achieved by Veigar with his 10 stacks Medjais on top of it.
That is nearly 10 blasting wands of AP. It's almost twice as many item slots.
He's definitely blasting away, okay?
Oh, yeah.
As Biofrost will tell you.
Forget the blasting wand. This is just the blasting stick. You use this to blast your opponents off of Summoner's Rift, and that's exactly what Dignitas has to be ready for. Mountain Soul feels really good against something like Corki Poke 2 because the shield will help you shrug off some of those rockets, but Golden Guardians, with 2 inhibitors down in the enemy base, now feel emboldened to group up and pressure that last remaining spot. Even without the Baron, this is the angle they're looking for here. Everybody's grouped up together.
All right, one lane left, Flowers, for Golden Guardians to deal with. They've got the big shield, so you can deal with the Corki rockets. You know, you basically shrug off the first rocket, even if you do get hit, and just try and bully your way in there. Force your way with this mountain shield to get the actual engage, or to push them back to base off of the last remaining inhibitor tower. Because once you collect all 3 inhibitors, it is a multiplicative effect because the super minions will be double for every lane and they will just swarm in. It's so easy to end the game with that power spike. 3 just means so much more. So Golden Guardians, here's the final push. Can Dig do anything about it?
Okay, man, this could be it. If anybody gets caught out by a Ablazeolive, it's just a nightmare here with that damage. Golden Guardians will take out the final tier 3. Inhibitor down now too. That's double super minions every lane, and it's not like any of those inhibitors are respawning anytime soon. At least 2 minutes on all those cooldowns. Veigar cage thrown up, so nobody can use the base gate to try to come out for the flank. You can see both River and FakeGod looking for that as a possibility. Golden Guardians just waiting for the minion waves to start pouring in, and they're going to have all of that extra pressure to use. Of course, without the Baron, it is still pretty easy for Neo to be able to use the Hurricane to clear some of those away. FakeGod eating a ton of damage. They're jumping in. Dignitas is deciding to go for it, and they got Ablazeolive. Taking down the enemy mid laner buys Dignitas time.
Oh, Olive.
He's ablaze indeed.
Yeah, he truly is. He goes down in a blaze of glory there. This is also one of the reasons why a lot of the Veigar mains are actually proponents of buying a defensive item that is not Zhonya's.
Yep.
Because Zhonya's, you know, that doesn't help you unless you actually get the quick activation off. You can still get burst down if there's CC, 100 to 0 right there. He's wiped off the face of the earth with some poor positioning out there by himself. But if you invest, you know, one of those item slots into something else like the Anathema's Chains, which is my personal favorite because it's also offensive in the nature of reducing tenacity to be able to fully CC lock people on any sort of melee threats. They're especially effective. So like someone like Tryndamere, you just love putting it on them because they're going to come into range of it, and it's so easy to just lock them down and take them out of the game. But Azonia's is like, that doesn't do much for you if you get CC'd like that and get bursted down. So that's an opening for Dig. They were pushed backs against the walls and have to make some sort of move, and you know, really good job by them picking off one player, but it is just one player, so they still have to deal with all these super minions flooding in, and here comes the teleport.
Nice aim there on the Super Mega Death Rocket. Blue has to flash to get away, but Biofrost will not be as lucky. Dignitas trying to stay in a fight. Neo's going to get one back onto Licorice, but now Dignitas is done. Both carries down. It's only FakeGod left. Golden Guardians only lose their top laner. They'll walk it in. It took them a while in the mid game. It's going to be 41 minutes before the Nexus falls. But Golden Guardians will take that early game lead all the way to the enemy Nexus and close this one out against Dignitas.
Time to ascend, FakeGod. Pull this game back somehow. Do it now.
I don't think so, my friend. Golden Guardians ties Dignitas in the standings 3-3, takes them down 41 minutes.
GG. Holy moly, that early game.
Yeah.
They absolutely dumpstered this early game here. Golden Guardians giant gold lead, and then even after getting turned off the Baron maybe 7, 8 times,
Corki does that, man.
they finally get it. They push them back through the red buff with the Baron, ending up with 2 inhibitors down and finish out the game. Congratulations, Golden Guardians. That will get you another dub on the board. They finish this one out, smiles across.
And of course, I mean, it's hard to deal with something like Corki spam during a mid-game situation, right? It's one of the best types of champions to stall out these Baron takes and make it so your opponent's just pulling their hair out trying to advance the game forward. But good job on Golden Guardians not making the mistake of overcommitting, not giving them the 50-50, not opening up those avenues for the potential throw like we've seen some of their other games be, and being able to close this one out come hell or high water, through all of the trenches, through the 10-minute wait in the mid-game. They finally got there, and they got it done.
You could tell before that game, and Nero was sitting him down. He's like, okay, only one thing matters. Do not throw.
No throw.
Repeat after me. I will not flip Baron.
I will not flip Baron. That's the story of what we saw. There was no Baron flip. There was Baron secure, and that's what it's all about, man. Golden Guardians, they got to be loving that, too. They're 3-3 now.
And they did not flip Baron.
No,
they got it.
Baron. And Golden Guardians clutch it out, and now it's time to catch up with Ablazeolive and LeTigress on the stage for our Verizon post-game interview.
Love to heal the energy after such a long game from our casters. And I am here with Ablazeolive. So first, I do want to ask you about the early game in isolation. Very dominating from Golden Guardians. How do you believe that was able to pursue?
I mean, it was so long ago, it's hard to remember. But, I mean, early game went really well. They burned my flash early with the Zinzao gank. But we kind of read when they were going to gank me back. So we had, like, our whole team there to counter gank. And right when that happened, the game was, like, really doomed for them. It was really bad for their bot to gank mid on that timing. So their bot lane lost, I got kills, so I got ahead, and Eric was smurfing in top lane, so he was doing well. So the game was like really decided by the counter gank.
So did the game go as long as it did, though, because you needed it to, or because you wanted to see how many stacks you could get?
I was definitely farming them stacks, but I think it seems like we have a rule where if the game goes past 40 minutes, that's when we can finally end. So, I mean, we fulfilled that goal today, so things went well, I guess.
On the opposite side of that, though, what are some of the challenges that kind of erupt in the later portions of the game with that difficulty to secure, you know, Dignitas trying to hold in it there?
I mean, definitely getting the Nash. We were really far ahead, so we got a lot of the tier 2s outers, which is like usually harder than taking the Nash, but we couldn't figure out the right setup. It's definitely something we're going to go back and look at, but we know that that's what we have to focus on. Scrims this week were not like the most productive, so hopefully next week we'll get better practice.
Got to bring in all the tactics to keep you on your toes, your hands at the ready. I've had the pleasure of testing out the hand warmers that you all have. Can you tell me a little bit more about what they offer compared to the traditional ones everyone else is using? Why are you so special?
Oh, I mean, they're really great. Like the traditional hand warmers, they only warm up like the palm of your hand. But very often, at least for me, like the outside of my hand is the one that gets really, really cold. But with the hand warmer, since it's all-encompassing, it warms up your whole hand, and it's really nice. It keeps your hands warm. I haven't had any issues with cold hands on stage since I've used it.
Yeah, that's really the key to victory through and through. Now, you just mentioned that things weren't the greatest when it comes to practice during the last week. So anything in particular that you were all focusing on going into this next week before you hit the 3 games that you got on the docket?
Definitely that mid to late game macro and Baron, for sure.
All right, we're looking out for it. Ablazeolive, thank you for joining me after that long game. Long one there.
Thank you.
All right, we do have a short break, though, now before we get into the next game on the docket. CLG taking on Team Liquid. And at the top of that, I will be speaking with the MasterCard Player of the Week for Week 2 in Whippo. See you there.
Hello. Obi-Kwan.
I need AD turned down.
Okay, cooling.
1 HP. Hey, ulti him? I ulti him. Oh, watch this headshot, guys. Watch this headshot.
Boom!
Nice.
baby.
Oh, baby, River's in some trouble. He wants to get out of there, but there's no way home. Watch out a little bit more. River walking in. Follow up from the Golden Guardians. Kaboom!
Oh no! That was not even fair.
What if respawning was refreshing? Here's to the round between rounds.
This game is rigged. This game is out to get me.